Daisy Thomas with us right now, Marty.
Daisy.
Good morning.
Fresh as a
Good
daisy
morning.
too. Well
Fresh
done, mate.
as Daisy.
What a weekend, and what a couple of weeks wait we've got before we get to watch the real heavy action.
Just 2 weeks of basking in the glory that was a famous North Melbourne victory.
Wasn't it wonderful?
21 weeks you went without winning and just thought, bugger it.
bang.
You know what? We've had enough. We don't want pick one.
Nope.
We will win in the last game and we will set
Did it for
ourselves back
Clarko.
by 4 years.
Did it for Clarko.
And as a North fan, you must be delighted.
Couldn't be happier.
What an absolute treat.
Couldn't be happier.
It doesn't seem that way.
The suggestion that we tank, I found quite offensive.
Well, and it took a
because
lot.
we do tank.
And it was, you tank so poorly, you win when you try to lose.
What happened?
You won.
What happened, Days? They didn't get the memo?
I was really confused. I'm not sure. There has to be something that plays out in and around the draft now.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's been a
what that
couple of
is,
theories,
but-
hasn't there?
Yeah,
I
lotteries.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I sat and watched that. I was like, I thought Gold Coast would just roll out there in North Melbourne and be competitive, and then all of a sudden they'd lose, and they continued to win.
What did you think of Hardwick going to the Gold Coast? We've never discussed that.
Yeah, I think he likes it up there.
Yeah.
So I was the coach.
As the coach.
Yeah, that's also good.
Like, are you surprised that you can leave a club 12 weeks ago and then be named mid-season and then be named as the coach at a new club?
No.
Have the polo on standing in front of the sponsors?
And yeah, I understand it. When you think about it more, he'd done everything he could at Richmond.
Yeah.
Cooked the sausages 1,000 different ways, couldn't cook them 1,001 different ways. So
Yeah.
he was literally just saying, I need to step away. There's no point for me to be the coach going forward. Find somebody new. I'm going up to the Gold Coast. And at the moment, that's a decent enough prospect, albeit a loss to North.
And they must have, albeit that's his first weekend of ever watching the Gold Coast.
So a few people would probably be sacked on the back of that, which is fine.
Just fine. Finals fixture has been released this morning.
Has it ever?
Thursday night, Collingwood v Melbourne at the MCG will be an absolute belter.
95,000. And don't forget, this isn't this week. So if you are going to go along, don't go this Thursday.
No, don't
We
turn
have
up
to
this
do
Thursday.
nothing for a week.
It'll be quiet.
Yeah, so we'll all talk about that and we'll figure out 7 different ways how both sides can win and how they can both lose. But that should be an absolute cracker. It's been a great year of footy.
It really has.
It really has. So,
Who do you like there? I mean, it's a bit early to be talking who you like.
No, well, I like the Pies, obviously, because I'm still working out the machinations of how the Pies play the Blues, and then I pay off my wedding with cashes in grand final week.
Jesus,
Which-
that is a great idea.
You know, the real winner out of all of this.
It's going to be you.
Oh my
and not
God.
the first time I've benefited financially from the Blues. So,
Well done.
this would be good
Well
again.
done. They have given you a lot of money over the years.
I gave some back.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
It wasn't all one-way traffic.
No, it wasn't.
Speaking of the Blues, Friday night, Carlton versus Sydney, again at the MCG.
How good. So the Blues fans who haven't won a final or played in final since 2013,
13.
when they fell in with the Essendon drug saga,
No, that's right.
how good that they won and they didn't have to win on the weekend to get through because it wasn't great against the GWS Giants. But now the Blues fans can go, there'll be 95,000 plus, and 92,000 of those will be Blues fans going there, long suffering, cannot wait. Hopefully they put their best foot forward because they were the most exciting team back half of this season. a
Jacob
nice
Weitering. That was a wonderful
Yeah,
sentence.
thank you.
Made sense.
Yeah.
Jacob Weitering, contact with Toby Green's eye. Any issues?
Be hard to see for Toby going forward.
I didn't think it was that bad, did
Nah,
you?
nothing in that. Surely,
Is he
please
getting a
explain.
week?
I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought so, Dave.
There's a finals precedent. Players tend
There
to
is, yeah,
tend to avoid these kind of ones. in finals.
yeah.
$1,200 perhaps?
12 to 1,500, 15 down to 12. Sort
15 down to
of
12.
the Nat Fife rule around Brownlow time.
Yeah,
The lawyer will cost more than the fine.
Correct. Anyone can headbutt a hip until it's Nat Fife.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon, St Kilda versus GWS.
Oh,
Once
ooh,
again, the
yes.
MC.
Ah, yeah, it should be an absolute crack. Look, Ross the boss, Triple M zone. What a man.
Yeah,
St Kilda had 15 players to pick from for round one, and they have won, and they are playing finals, which
Yeah.
is incredible. And the Giants as well, they were down and out. They were done.
Yeah.
Did we ever hear the audio of him in those preseason games, which was being
if you
circulated?
haven't, do it. It's
Really?
quite
Is
funny.
it wonderful?
Yeah, there's a few little bits and a few players get levelled. It's in true Ross fashion. And nothing, I'm sure, he would have pulled them in and said, look, if you're going to hear it, it's probably not going to be great, but it's nothing I wouldn't say to your face, which is the true Ross style.
So St Kilda GWS, who do you like there, Dave?
Well, at the minute, it's hard to go past the Giants. But also, I feel like all year we've waited for St Kilda to stumble and stammer, and they've just continued to rock up. They were very good against Will's Brisbane.
Would you be dirty if you were the Saints and you had to play at the MCG? Do you feel like it gives away a bit of an advantage?
Well, maybe an advantage, but surely financially they're understanding that the more people that come along, the better for them. And do you want to play finals? You want to play in front of big crowds? Yeah. You know, Marvel Stadium's a tin can. No thanks.
Yeah.
Just a
Brisbane
nothing
Port.
against Marvel.
No,
of course, if they
Marvel,
want to, if they want to pay me, I'll say nicer things. About it.
Medallion Club, life
What a
member.
great spot!
Brisbane v Port at the Gabba Saturday night.
The Gabatoire. Well, this is set up for Brisbane, and Will, you must be very anxious and also excited because this is the best look you've had for a very long time.
Easily, under Fagan.
A mature group now who've played finals, got finals experience into those younger guys, of home final series all the way until...
Yeah, the ticket to the grand final. And you're right, kids like Barry and McCluggage, they've now played like 7, 8 finals. They know how to do it. So, I don't know. We've never been better poised.
And you can't win at the MCG, which is going to make it hard to win a grand final.
Well, they've lost... I heard a stat over the weekend. They've lost 5 of their last 58 at the Gabba.
I think our 6th last win might have been the 03 grand final. It's been a long time.
Oh, it's absolutely astounding.
Won a
That joint truly is a fortress.
Won a final there last year, though, so...
Against Richmond.
And hats off to Fagan for coping with all the stuff that's been going on around him personally through the last 12 months to have been able to stay on track and focus with getting this team moving forward because he's had a horrendous year in the public spotlight.
He and obviously Alistair Clarkson have had a very public year and Clarko stepped away. So you're right. To Fags' credit, he's been able to focus all his attention on coaching and letting that just sort of make its way in the background. So for the Lions, it is set up for them to just cruise into a grand final, which then you start to get nervous if you are a Lions fan.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Honestly, you cannot win at the MCG. For whatever reason, you're 27 points up against Melbourne with 3 minutes to go. Found a way to lose.
Yeah,
incredible.
Your team sucks.
Yeah.
Let's come back, Daisy. Daisy's with us on the eve of the finals. Not quite the eve, the fortnight eve.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the bye round?
I think it's a good thing now with concussion as well. If somebody, but that was a similar discussion when we had the bye before the grand final a couple of years ago.
Well, I think Luke Hodge was talking about that. I heard Luke Hodge saying he would prefer the week off before the grand final than the week off before the final series.
That gives the opportunity to have the very best teams out there on grand final day for all those reasons, as we say, with a 12-day concussion protocol and whatnot. But however, that is sort of part of the game, the man management and injuries and whatnot. They're always the stories. And no doubt throughout this final series, the tackling, that'll be a big controversy. Head hitting ground, people getting 1 week, whether or not it becomes the finals like way they adjudicate that going forward.
Ball touching the post.
Well, you got to be careful when that happens.
Because Adelaide, had the goal review been overturned versus Sydney, they would officially be playing in the finals. I mean, that is an expensive mistake.
It is. And I was big on this last week, just how they seem to lay down and just be like, yeah, fair enough, no stress. Now you look at it and go,
well, it's worth a lot of money to them as well.
And they would have rolled into 8th spot with percentage. Swans would have been out. Dogs would have missed as well. Huge. And they could have done some damage in finals too with the way they played. So, again, though, this is what happens and now we see everything getting reviewed over the weekend.
It's tripled in time now, every review.
And,
Well, Bulldogs sat 5th with 4 rounds to go. Had they beaten West Coast, they would have finished 6th.
Weren't happy with Will and I chat about that.
I want to get onto the Bulldogs because what's happened to that club?
Well, again, they missed finals, so they made it last year, but you need to remember that they fell in because the Blues missed. So the Blues lost the last 2 games, Melbourne and then Collingwood. Just had to win one of those games and they would have got in. So the Bulldogs were reliant on Carlton missing last year. This year they were hoping that Carlton would win and then they would have taken the Giants spot. So it's not great. A side that has fallen into finals, their best is so good. There's talent there. However, they're probably bottom 5 or 6 players on the list is the question mark and the inconsistency is there's far too big a gap between their very best and their very worst. Which no doubt this time of year, this is when you start to look at that.
Yeah, because their best is good footy.
Their best
really
is good
footy.
Like really good footy. But again, Marcus Bontempelli's had a great year. Tim English is arguably going to be an All-Australian.
Mm.
There's a lot still to like, but you haven't won enough games to go and play a final.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to stack up.
No, it doesn't. Geelong, the 6th team in the top 8 era to win the premiership and miss the finals the next season.
Again,
Did they cruise through that grand final
they
last
did.
year?
They genuinely took the piss.
It was like
yeah.
ball work.
Yeah, it was. Sydney, again, forgot which day the grand final was on.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's astounding.
Yeah, it just rocked up.
When Robbie Williams was the best thing on the day, you know you're having a bad grand final experience.
But that could probably happen. I would happily.
He was very good.
He's very good.
We loved him.
Wasn't
didn't we?
quite
was great.
Meatloaf
It's
in
excellent.
2010.
No, you
No,
know.
unfortunately, I was in the change rooms and didn't get to see it.
What's happened at Geelong?
It just goes to show how even the competition is at the minute, and you need your best players out there. They're aging stars that we thought may have been the reason they weren't going to be super competitive the year before when they did go on and win it. And I was someone who said, I'm not so sure. Now they get a year older. They had some injuries stack up. They obviously lose Joel Selwood, comes relying on kids. Cameron played banged up for a large part of the season. Hawkins misses late. It just goes to show that 2 or 3 players out of any side, it makes it very, very hard. And that's when you were clearly the best side by a long way last season.
Did he rest 5 or 6 blokes before this round?
I think it was 6.
Yeah, there was a lot. Which
you're not worried about that?
Well, again, this is it's the the rod for their own back. The AFL make that. There's no reason why you would go out and play these players.
Yeah,
you go to jump on an extra week of recovery, which doesn't seem a lot, but if you're sending players in, who cares?
What about if it had that other thing they're talking about where you're playing for 8th, you've got 9th,
wild
10th,
card round. Yeah,
would that have changed the
that's
6
a
blokes
discussion
being
for another day when I've in a
feeling
better
fresh?
Yeah. This ain't a Monday after a Sunday.
No,
operation.
it is not.
No, I need more notice on that question.
So we'll carry that over to next year.
Well, we got another week. I'll come back next Monday and we can actually preview this. But that's the idea of the wild card round. So there is more incentive for teams that effectively may have no reason to play. Gives them a reason to play, gives everyone a reason to try again. But, if it's the last spot, does it make that much of a difference?
Who was the last team to win it from the 8?
From
outside the top
from
4
8th.
was the Dogs.
The Dogs?
Yeah, they were at
Dogs.
7.
Yeah.
under the
Loz, here you go.
I was just
Hello,
looking it
how
up.
are you? Good to see you.
Hey, Loz. I didn't know you were here. How you going,
She's
mate?
been just crunching that and waiting.
And before that was Adelaide in 1998. They came at 5th.
Yeah, we don't discuss.
nice.
We
You
don't
haven't
add-
said much, but what you've said has been
Thank
absolutely. It may not be a day, but it could be a moment. And
Thank
that's what
you.
we
Yeah,
all
there you
need
go.
to
That's all
do.
that
Coming
matters.
into
Mate,
finals.
it's about moments. Get your head over it. Unfortunate turn of phrase.
I want to rephrase
Dave
that,
and I
Marty.
just looked at each other. But I'd like to take that back if I may.
You may.
Leading the witness.
I retract. Always lovely to see you,
Have a
Dave.
great week, too.